Dun, 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 boom, 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 boom. This is the Kandao Qoocam, and in this video, I'm going to tell you everything I know about it so far. This is the longest 360 camera I've ever seen. Look how big that is. And it's made of metal, it's very solid, and it's kind of heavy, but not too heavy. We have two lenses on the front and one on the back. There's a button there, which is on off and turning on Wi-Fi. And on this side, we have another button, which is for taking photos and videos. On the bottom, there's a standard 1/4 inch tripod thread, and you'll notice it's not in the middle, it's on the side. This is so they can fit more battery into this thing. The Qoocam has a battery about this big, making it one of the biggest batteries on any 360 camera. On the side, we have a microphone, a micro SD tray, and a micro USB slot, which is actually super hard to open. I don't have nails, and I'm always at war with this thing. Open, come on. Okay, that took me about 10 seconds to open it, and I scratched it a little bit, but you can wipe that off. I'm thinking of ripping this rubber thing off because it's just a major pain. And now for the final and perhaps the coolest design feature, the Qoocam flips into a 180 camera. 180 essentially means 3D, where it uses these two lenses to get a 3D 180 perspective, which means the Qoocam is two cameras for the price of one. This is the lens cap, by the way, and I like it a lot. This is the lens cover that the Insta360 one should have had, and it makes it easy to protect the camera's lenses without putting them at risk of damage or heavy smudging. So basically, it looks like a massive... Now, how cool is this backdrop looking, by the way? This is one of my many YouTube sets, and welcome to my camera shelf. Whoa, look how epic it is. It's about 10 million 360 cameras, VR headsets, we have 360 camera gadgets, drones, and my favorite selfie sticks. How cool is it? Too bad it's all gonna be out of focus because most of my shots have a blurry background. That's just the way I roll. By the way, I wanna make something clear. This is not a review. It's still too early to make a review about the Qoocam because it's only been available for a few weeks and so much is going to change about this camera. This is more of a first impressions video of what the camera is like in August 2018. Here's the resolution, and it's nothing groundbreaking. All the other cameras we know and love have 4K resolution, and they have higher quality images. So the Qoocam doesn't really compete with the other cameras on the resolution front. Now let's take a look at some samples, and I'm going to include a free download link in the description in case you want to download a bunch of samples, stitch them for yourself. I'll include 3D 180, I'll include 360, video and photo, so feel free to check them out. Overall, I describe the Qoocam's photos as good and passable as social media content. The only issue I have really, aside from the resolution, are the colors. This is especially noticeable in the highlight areas of the image where the sun blows out the colors and it turns the sky into a lighter shade of blue than it actually is. I know they're working on this, but accuracy of color is an issue for me right now. Everything that applies to photos also applies to videos. This is looking pretty decent. Not amazing, but I would say average or just above average compared to all the other 360 cameras. Note that you're going to get better results stitching on desktop instead of mobile in basically all areas, stitching, color, and whatnot, so try to stick to desktop if you can. Stitch test, stitch test, stitch test, stitch test, stitch test, stitch test, stitch test. The stabilization is really, really, really good. Would I call it the best? Maybe I would. This is just as good as Rilo or Fusion, if not a little bit better. I honestly don't see how it could get better than this. This is, dare I say it, perfect stabilization. Could you imagine getting a head strap for this thing and riding around testing the stabilization? Now there's a way to spend a night in jail. So round of applause Kandao for that awesome stabilization. Next I want to talk about 180 mode, and 180 is becoming more and more popular. I know it doesn't sound as good as 360, but it does have the added benefit of producing 3D photos and videos because the two lenses here line up with your eyes, so when you watch it back with a headset you can actually see depth within the 180 photo, whereas you just don't get that with 360 photos and videos. It's kind of hard to explain, and it's even hard to show. I can't show you a 180 photo or video without you actually putting a headset on to view it. but when you do view it, it's absolutely incredible. It's so immersive. It's like the next level of immersion, even more immersive than 360. However, it's just so hard to set up and share around and view. I still haven't viewed a 3D photo from the Qoocam yet, so that's about to change. Let's do it. Here are the glasses that were provided in the box, and I've entered 180 mode on my phone, as you can see here. And I'm going to slot my phone into the viewer. Alright, let's take a look. Wow. Oh wow, that is really cool. Holy crap, this has several layers of depth. My phone is the closest thing, the peace sign is the second closest, then it's my face, then my body, then that lady over there, followed by the man on the right. Finally, the Sydney Opera House is the very back layer, but this is incredible. Wow. Oh my god, I wish I could share this more easily. I wish you guys could see what I could see, because this is so immersive and it's actually a really good level of quality. It feels like I can reach out and touch myself. Okay, that came across wrong, but you get what I mean. It's kind of like those Viewmaster headsets that were popular back in the 80s and 90s, where you put a little wheel into that headset thing. Actually, I've got a VR version of Viewmaster here. So it was like this, and you would put a wheel into it, and you'd look through it, and you'd click this thing, and you'd see different scenes of cartoons. And I remember watching, there was a show called The Dinosaurs. I had a Dinosaurs disc, and it was just like watching what I just saw. It was 3D and so immersive. I remember feeling like I was actually there with the dinosaurs. I was even kind of scared that they were going to eat me. That's how immersive it was. And now, I have that once again, but with my own photos. This is really, really cool. I think there is a way of sharing these online, but it's really hard. So this is more the kind of thing that you would take to a party, you'd take out with your friends or family and show them your 3D photo and pass your phone around. At the moment, it's just too hard to do it any other way. This is made possible because the Qoocam has a feature called depth mapping, which makes it possible to record data about how close and far things are away. And one awesome application of this depth map is the refocusing feature. So I have another photo of me here in front of the Harbour Bridge. I'm going to tap edit and now refocus, and all you have to do is tap to refocus. So I can tap on the background and suddenly I go out of focus, or I can tap my face and suddenly the background becomes blurry. This is a simulated shallow depth of field, not the real thing obviously, but it actually does a pretty good job. This is simulating the bokeh effect, like the image you're looking at now where the background's out of focus and I'm in focus. So it's essentially pretending to be a DSLR. However, one issue I really have with this is the quality just isn't there. If you zoom in even a little bit, it looks soft and the colors are blotchy and it's not really publishable at all. Personally, I wouldn't use it for anything other than viewing on a phone screen. When you bring it to a computer, it's just going to look terrible. So while this feature is really cool, the resolution isn't there for photos. I think this is a great step forward though for depth map technology. Imagine if that was super high resolution and you could change the focus later on. How cool would that be? It would mean you wouldn't have to buy expensive lenses to get that shallow depth of field effect anywhere you went. You could do it all with a 180 camera, but I think we're still years away from getting decent quality refocused 180s like this. So I would definitely describe this as more of a video camera than a photo camera, because the videos look really, really good as we saw before. The final pro I want to talk about is the battery, and this battery lasts 3 hours. Yeah, you heard that right, 3 hours. Most other cameras last 1 hour max. This lasts for 3, that's crazy. While I find the size of the body annoying, this is one major plus to having all that space for battery. If you want to record for a long time, you can with the Qoocam, and you can put in 256 gigabytes worth of storage. So it's totally possible if you want to record 3 hours straight without plugging into power at 4K in 360, the Qoocam is looking like your best option right now. But beware though, because of the bigger camera size, you won't want to put it in your jeans because you will get kicked out of any nightclub you enter. And now for the issues. I want to start by taking a trip back about a year when the GoPro Fusion was released. It was a camera by GoPro, their very first all-in-one 360 camera. It was released to so much hype and so much disappointment. The early backers bought it and they had problem after problem after problem. They sent it back to Amazon, they sent it back to GoPro, they complained anywhere they could complain, and they basically wrote the GoPro off as a piece of garbage. However, slowly but surely, week after week, month after month, they improved the GoPro Fusion until it became the best 360 camera money could buy. It wasn't quick, it took a while, even up to 6 months I would say, but it became the best with firmware updates, app updates, and software updates. Well, I've got news for you. That's where the Qoocam is right now. It's right at the beginning and people are complaining.
Terrible quality.
The app and the software suck.
Highly flawed design. I waited for 5 months on Kickstarter and now you send me this crap?
Kandao haven't responded to my complaint and it's been 3 hours. Yes, if you make your way over to the Qoocam Facebook group, you'll see these complaints and more. So now I'm going to tell you the current problems with the Qoocam or the features they haven't yet added to the camera. The biggest complaint so far is the base plate is coming loose from the camera when people are using a selfie stick. It's not stuck on well enough and people are swinging it around and it's been coming loose and falling off. Hasn't happened to me yet, but there are a few people in the Facebook group that it's happened to. No doubt, Kandao are watching and they're like, uh-oh, better fix that. In fact, just as I edited that last line of the video, I noticed the CEO wrote a message in the Facebook group saying he was going to deal with all the faulty units, give the few people with faulty units replacements, and make sure it doesn't happen again in the future. Next, the software and the app are still in the beginner stages. They don't have all the features that were listed for the camera yet, but they're coming within the next 1 to 2 months. Live streaming hasn't been added yet. It will be soon, and it'll be desktop only to begin with. There's no manual control of this camera yet. It's coming in September, but when it comes, it means we'll be able to fix those colors and those exposure imperfections. Another thing that's coming is DNG RAW. It's not ready yet, but that will be another massive win for the Qoocam. So that's all I can think of at the moment. Again, this isn't a review because it's still way too early to release a review. I honestly think this camera has potential to be amazing within the next few months, if not by the end of the year. If you're the kind of person that's likely to be outraged by the Qoocam not having all the features that they advertised yet, then you should wait to buy the Qoocam. Do not buy the Qoocam because I don't want to see you complaining in the Facebook group. I'm getting sick and tired of all the complaints already. I don't work for Kandao, they're not paying me, but all I know is complaining doesn't really solve the problem. I mean, you have every right to be upset, especially if there's issues like the thread coming loose, but this is what happens if you're an early adopter. If you want the new shiny toy before anyone else, it's not going to be fully complete. I know in an ideal world, companies would release their cameras when they're fully complete, but would you rather have a 75% complete camera now or a 100% complete camera in 3 months? I'd take 75 right now. So my advice would be don't buy it if you're expecting a perfect camera from the get-go, because it's not. And no 360 camera is. But they all get better and better the older they get and the more firmware updates that come out. So if you want it now and if you want to experiment with some of the cool features like refocus, 180, the stabilization, the depth mapping, then I think it's totally worth it. But if you're looking for a perfect camera from the get-go, do not buy the Qoocam. I've got no doubt by Christmas time 2018, this is going to be one of the lead contenders in the consumer 360 camera market. It's not yet, and I'm definitely going to be using it between now and then because it's done some awesome things and I know it has so much potential. I'm excited by this camera because it's the cheapest 360 camera that also doubles as a 180 camera. So if you're someone that likes taking lots of different kinds of shots, but 360, 180, 3D, then this is going to be a good option for travelers, bloggers, or anyone just wanting different content. I'm going to include some samples of the Qoocam with both 360 and 180 down in the description. So click the link if you want to download them, try stitching them, try viewing them yourself, and work out whether you like what it does before you go out and press that buy button. So if you're considering buying the Qoocam, my guess is you're probably someone that's ready to take their 360 skills to the next level. Let me ask you a question. If you could learn everything I knew, everything that took me years to study and master about 360 video, if you could learn that in 3 hours or less, would that be valuable? Well, that's why I made a beginner's guide to 360 video, which is a collection of all my best secrets and shortcuts for achieving professional level 360 videos regardless of the camera you own. It's one thing to own an amazing camera, it's another thing entirely to really get the most out of it and get professional looking footage, as well as finding an audience for that footage that then grows your personal brand and helps you earn money from it. So if you're someone that strongly values knowledge and you want to learn fast, then I'd strongly suggest checking out my video course. I'll put a link to it down in the description. So that's it from me, guys. I'd be curious to know, what do you think of the Kandao Qoocam? Leave a comment in the description. Feel free to ask a question about the Qoocam and I'll do my best to answer. Again, I would strongly suggest you join the Kandao Qoocam Facebook group. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? and see what's in there. You have other user experiences, you have all kinds of samples. It's all there, so definitely check it out. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well if you want to find out about all the latest and greatest 360, 180, 3D VR gadgets. Until next time, be sure to capture your world in 360, and Qoocam and I will see you in the next video.
A little boxes on the hillside, a little boxes made ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, a little boxes.